Alright, hi everyone. I'm going to work on this practice test here. And first one, we've got this exponential form, 6 to the 2/5. We're going to write in radical form. So I need a radical. The denominator is the index. Then I got 6, and the numerator is the power of 6. Alright. Second one, write in exponential form. The 5th root of 2. Then I'm going to take the 5th root of a to the 10th times the 5th root of b to the 2nd. Just 3 separate parts. Split it into 3 parts. And then that is 2 to the 1/5 power times a to the 10/5 power times b to the 2/5 power. And I'll write that as 2 to the 1/5 because 10 divided by 5 is 2. I'll write a squared there, and then b to the 2/5 here. Now, 8 to the 5/3. I'm going to evaluate that. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So I'm going to rewrite 8 as 2 to the 3rd and raise that to the 5/3. And then power to a power, we multiply. 3 times 5 over 3. The 3's will cancel, so that's 2 to the 5th power, which, if you calculate that, that's 32. Now g to the 2/7, we're going to simplify this, times 3/7. I can power times a power, so we add the exponents. 2/7 plus 3/7 is 5/7. And then number 5 here, it's the 5th root of 32, the 8th root, sorry, of 32 to the 2nd power. I'm going to change this first to a rational exponent, fraction exponent. And that's 32 to the 1/4 power. Now 32, we just learned up here, 32 is 2 to the 5th. So I'm going to take 2 to the 5th and raise that to the 1/4, and that's 2 to the 5/4 power. Now that's simplified, but if I start in radical, I want to end in radical. So I'm going to write a 4th root, sorry, of 2 to the 5th power. Okay. And if I was going to go further with that, I just thought of this. Go 2 to the 4th times 2 if I have 2 to the 5th power. And then that's the 4th root of 2 to the 4th times the 4th root of 2, which is the 4th. Nope. The 4th root and 4th power cancel, so that's 2. This part is 2. This part I'll just rewrite times the 4th root of 2. So, alright, let's go with that with my answer there. Now we have equations to solve. This is a cube root, so I'm going to raise both sides to the 3rd power to get rid of the cube root, the radical. And that's x minus 2 there. The cube root and the 3rd power cancel, and 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. I will add 2, and I get x equals 29. And then we're going to check. Alright, sorry about that. I had my calculator buried under a pile of papers, so I'm going to check this. Okay, I'm going to take the cube root cube root of 29 minus 2, and just see if that's going to equal 3. Math. Cube root. 29 minus 2 is 3. Alright, so we'll check that one off. Okay, this one, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I got the square root of x plus 2 equals 3. Then I want to get rid of the radical. After you get the radical by itself, we're going to square both sides. Square and square root cancel out. That's x plus 2 is 9. Subtract 2 from both sides. I got x is 7. So let's check. Square root of 7 plus 2 and then plus 4 and see if that's equaling 7. Now this time that's a square root of 9. I don't think I'll use my calculator this time. Plus 4, does that equal 7? Well, square root of 9 is 3, and 3 plus 4 does equal 7. So we'll go with that answer. Alright, if you'll notice I got square roots on both sides, so I'm going to square both sides here. X minus 12. If you remember in these, we got to FOIL this out. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 2 radical x. Negative radical x times 2 is minus 2 radical x. And square root of x times square root of x is x. And x, square root of x times square root of x is x. So we're going there. Okay. So I got 4 minus 4 radical x. When I combine these two, I get minus 4 radical x plus x. 4. Plus x. So I still have a radical, but I had 2, now I have 1. I'm going to subtract x to get it by itself, and I'm going to subtract 4 here also to get the radical by itself. It cancels. Negative 12 minus 4 is negative 16. Those are canceling. That's negative 4 square root of x. Divide by negative 4. And 4 equals square root of x. I'm going to square both sides. I got 16 is equal to x. So I'm going to check. Square root of 16 minus 12. Is that going to equal 2 minus the square root of 16? Well, that's 4. So that's square root of 4 equals 2 minus, sorry, the square root of 16 is 4 also. So does 2 equal 2 minus 4? And no, it doesn't. These aren't equal. Okay, this is extraneous. So we have no solution. That's why we check, right? Sometimes that happens. So I'm going to add 1 here. Add 1 here. I got negative 4 equals the square root of x minus 2. I'll raise that to the second power. I'll raise that to the second power. I got 16. That's equal to x minus 2. I'll add 2. And I got 18 is equal to x. I'm going to check. Is negative 5 going to equal the square root of 18 minus 2 and then minus 1? That's the square root of 16 minus 1. Does negative 5 equal 4 minus 1? It does not. Okay, this one is also extraneous. So we have no solution. Alright, so number 10, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rewrite this as a radical. This is a exponent form. So it's 2 radical 6x minus 3 cube root, not square root, it's cube root. 1/3 cube root, minus 4 equals 0. Now I will add 4 to both sides. I got 2 cube root of 6x minus 3 equals 4. And I'll divide both sides by 2, and I've got the cube root of 6x minus 3 equals 2. And I'll raise both sides to the third power, and 6x minus 3 equals 8. I'll add 3 to both sides. 6x equals 11. I'll divide by 6. So x is 11 over 6. I'm going to check that. I'm going to put it into this first equation here. 2 paren 6 times 11 divided by 6, or 11/6, minus 3, the c's, to the 1/3 power, 1 divided by 3 power, I'll get out of the exponent, and then minus 4. Are we equal to 0? We are. So we have a solution. Now 11, I'm going to square both sides, and I have 2x minus 7 equals x plus 2. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Now I have x minus 7 equals 2. I'll add 7 to both sides. I have x equals 9. When I check it, square root of 2x minus 7, 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 7. So I got the square root of 11. 9 plus 2 is 11 equals square root of 11. So that checks out. Number 12. Let's add 6 to both sides. It's the fourth root here. So I have the fourth root of x plus 8 equals 3. I'm going to raise both sides to the fourth power and have x plus 8 equals 81. I'll subtract 8 from both sides, and I get x equals 73. And I'm going to check. This is a fourth root. So on the TI 84s and 3s, I put the 4 in first. Math. I go down to the radical with the x index there, and I put the 4 in, and that's how it does it. So let's put 73 plus 8, and that's in there, and then let's subtract 6, and I get negative 3. If you can see that, it is saying negative 3. Alright, so that one works. Now I'm going to do this one. I'm going to change this to a radical fifth root. 4x minus 1. Make that a little big. Minus 1 equals 2. And I'll add 1 to both sides. Fifth root of 4x minus 1 is equal to 3. Raise it to the fifth power. And I got 4x minus 1 equals 243. I'll add 1 to both sides. I got 4x equals 244. And I'll divide by 4, and x equals 61. Let's check it. Let's see. Paren 4 times 61 minus 1, the c's, to the power of 1 divided by 5. And then let's subtract 1. And we get 2. All right. Got a word problem here. We got a formula for a pendulum. Formula T equals 2 pi times the square root of L over 32 represents the swing of a pendulum, where T represents the time in seconds. to swing back and forth, and L is the length of the pendulum in feet. How long is the pendulum at cosi if it takes 6.89 seconds to swing back and forth? This is T. So 6.89 equals 2 pi times the square root of L over 32. So we're solving for L, the length of the pendulum. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi first, and then that'll cancel out. 6.89 divided by, I'll put this in parentheses, 2 times pi. I know it's somewhere, here it is, second pi. I'm going to keep a lot of decimals here. This is 1.096. I'll go 4 decimal places. 9.066. I round that 5 up. And that's now, it's approximate, the square root of L over 32. So now, I want to get rid of the radical, so I'm going to square both sides. I'm going to raise this to the second power. I've got 1.02, nope, 1.02 2025 is approximately what the square root and square cancel. L over 32 is. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 32. I'll just take this answer here, times 32. I'm getting 38. Doesn't tell me what to round to. I'm going to go 38.48 feet. All right, there we go. Take care, guys.